When someone tells you they're the best you'll ever get, what they're really doing is daring the universe to prove them wrong. And trust me, the universe didn't just prove her wrong, it slapped her in the face with the receipts. Let me take you back a little over 2 years ago, when I was the kind of guy who believed in forever. I was 27, engaged, living with a woman I genuinely thought I'd spend the rest of my life with. Her name was Callie, and when we met, it felt like the kind of instant connection they write songs about. She was charismatic, sharp-tongued in a way that kept you on your toes, and, I'll admit it, stunning. The kind of woman who could stop conversations just by walking into a room. Callie and I dated for almost 3 years before I proposed. We moved fast, sure, but it felt right. She was the kind of person who made you feel like standing still was wasting time. That constant energy, it was addictive. And also blinding. At first, I chalked up the little red flags to stress. She'd stay late at work, often, but she worked in fashion PR, and that world never sleeps. She was always on her phone, but in her world, networking was survival. If she snapped at me for asking who she was texting at 2 a.m., she'd accuse me of not trusting her. And I didn't want to be that guy. The jealous, insecure one. So I let it go. Again. And again. The moment everything unraveled was so absurdly cinematic it almost felt scripted. It was a Thursday night. I'd gotten home early to cook, something I did when I wanted to decompress. I made her favorite, pasta carbonara, garlic bread, a bottle of wine breathing on the counter. I even lit candles like a fool. I was going to suggest a weekend trip, maybe even push to finally set a wedding date. She walked in already irritated, slamming her keys on the table like the door had personally insulted her. Rough day? I asked, carefully. She didn't answer. Just looked at the table, the wine, the candles, and gave me this pitying, almost annoyed look. What is all this? I thought we could have a nice night. Just us. She scoffed. Like I had offered her a plate of trash. We're not 22 anymore, Jake. You don't have to woo me. That stung. But I tried to keep my voice even. It's not about wooing you. I just wanted to spend time together. That's when she looked me dead in the face and said, "You're too much. Too available. Predictable. I feel like I'm suffocating in this relationship." The wine glass in my hand nearly slipped. Where is this coming from? I've been trying to tell you for months. You just don't hear it. I'm not in love with you anymore. The next words came like a punch I never saw coming. I'm seeing someone else. Silence. She didn't cry. She didn't explain. She just dropped it like it was weather. Like it wasn't about to obliterate the foundation of my life. I sat down, slowly, trying to process. How long? She shrugged. A few months. But that's not the point. The hell it isn't, I snapped. Then came the kicker. The line I'd carry with me, the line that became my personal battle cry. You'll never find someone like me, Jake. Someone who pushes you, challenges you. You'll end up with some boring girl who settles for your mediocrity. The words echoed. I didn't even yell. I just nodded, stood up, grabbed my keys, and walked out. I didn't pack a bag. I didn't grab a jacket. I drove to my buddy Chris's place and sat in silence for 2 hours while he tried to get me to say anything. I slept on his couch that night. And the next night. And for a week after. What followed was the darkest stretch of my adult life. Depression, rage, confusion, betrayal, it all sat on my chest like a goddamn anvil. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Everything in our apartment reminded me of her. Of what I lost. Of what I thought I had. But slowly, painfully, I started crawling out. I hit the gym like it owed me money. I started therapy. I journaled. I reconnected with people I'd lost touch with during the relationship. And I stopped making excuses for her. Because here's the truth, she didn't cheat because I wasn't enough. She cheated because she wasn't. And then, something wild happened. About 11 months after the breakup, I got a DM on Instagram. It was from a girl I hadn't thought about in years, Mia Reynolds. We went to high school together. Ran in similar circles, but never dated. She was always cool, sweet, had this effortless beauty, and was low-key hilarious. But we were both dating other people back then, and life just took us in different directions. Her message? Hey stranger. I saw your story and couldn't help but laugh. You always did make the best burnt toast. Hope you're doing okay. We started chatting. Casually at first, old memories, catching up, light flirting. But that light started burning brighter fast. She told me she'd always had a bit of a thing for me in high school but never thought I noticed her. I told her I used to think she was way out of my league. Now here's the part Callie would hate. Mia? She's a legit model now. Like magazine spreads, fashion week runways, verified on IG, the whole nine. But she's also grounded as hell. She runs a dog rescue in her spare time. Reads sci-fi. Makes her own sourdough. We met up for coffee that turned into dinner that turned into a weekend trip that turned into everything. It's been 6 months now. I've never been happier. She's kind, smart, confident, and she treats me like a damn treasure. And when I told her what Callie said about how I'd never find someone like her, Mia just laughed and said she was right. Because you found someone better. What Callie never understood is that love isn't a power trip. It's not about challenging someone to keep up with your chaos. It's about finding peace in someone's presence. It's about building, not testing. And now, every day, I wake up next to someone who sees me, truly sees me, and is still choosing me. But trust me, we're just getting started. 3 months into dating Mia, life had finally leveled out. Peace, laughter, trust, all the things my ex-fiancée Callie claimed were boring. Meanwhile, Mia and I were solid. We become that couple, the kind that finishes each other's thoughts and shares desserts without asking. We weren't perfect, but it felt real, stable, honest. Then, of course, Callie came crawling back. It started with a like on one of my Instagram stories, the kind where you know they're testing the waters. Then a comment on an old post. Can't believe you still wear that hoodie face with years of joy, which I hadn't worn since she left, until Mia found it in my closet and said it looked good on me. I ignored it. But Callie wasn't done. A few days later, I got a message. Hey, just saw your story. You look good. I hope you're doing okay. I stared at it for a long time. No apology. No ownership. Just fishing. I left it on read. 2 weeks later, she upped the game. Texted me late at night. I've been thinking a lot lately. Can we talk? No drama. I promise. I almost laughed out loud. Drama was her love language. Still, I showed Mia. Transparency mattered. She read it, shrugged, and said, do what feels right. Just don't let her twist it. So I replied. You walked out, Callie. What's there to talk about? She responded instantly. I made a mistake. Now that was new. The next day, she asked to meet for closure. Against my better judgment, I agreed, in public, during the day. We met at a cafe. The second she saw me, she tried to hug me. I stepped back. We sat. She gave me the speech I think she rehearsed in the mirror about how she'd been confused, scared of settling, how the guy she left me for was a huge mistake, and how seeing me thriving made her realize what she lost. I let her talk. Then I asked, what exactly is it that you think you lost? She blinked, unsure how to answer. Because the guy you cheated on? He's gone. I'm not him anymore. That shut her up. When I stood to leave, she reached for my hand. I just miss how safe I felt with you. I pulled away. You don't miss me. You miss the stability you took for granted. And then, because karma knows how to work with style, Mia pulled up outside to pick me up. She waved. I waved back. Callie's eyes followed us as I got in the car. The door closed. So did that chapter. After that awkward cafe goodbye, I thought Callie would finally fade into the background like a bad dream. I was wrong. At first, it was small stuff. She'd view every single story I posted within minutes. I'd post a picture of Mia and me at brunch, and she'd like the next post, never the one with Mia in it. Passive-aggressive lurking 101. Mia found it weird but shrugged it off. Exes always circle when they realize they lost. Then it escalated. One night, Mia and I went to this small rooftop bar in our city. Nothing fancy, just our spot. Halfway through our drinks, Mia got quiet. Don't look now, she said, but I swear Callie's here. I laughed, until I looked. 2 tables across, there she was. Hairstyled the exact way she used to wear it when we dated. Dressed up like she was meeting someone. Alone. Pretending not to see us. She never approached. Just sat there, scrolling through her phone, sipping wine. We left early. The next day, she messaged me. Funny running into you last night. You always like that place. I didn't reply. I blocked her on everything that day. But the weirdness kept coming. A week later, Mia found a burner Instagram account following her. No posts, no name, but the only mutual follower? One of Callie's old friends. Then Mia's car got keyed. She didn't want to assume, but mine got scratched 3 days later. We filed a police report, but without proof, there wasn't much they could do. I changed both our privacy settings. We stopped tagging locations. Mia made her profile private. Still, we'd catch glimpses, a car parked across the street from my apartment a little too often. A bouquet of Mia's favorite flowers left at the door with no note. Just subtle, creepy reminders. Mia kept calm, but I could tell it was getting to her. This isn't about wanting you, she said one night. It's about her losing control. And she was right. It wasn't love. It was possession. Callie couldn't handle being replaced, especially by someone who made me happier than she ever did. I reported the stalking to the cops and sent a very formal, very clear cease and desist through a lawyer. She never replied, but the weirdness stopped. For a while. But I knew she wasn't done yet. I should have known Callie wouldn't go quietly. After weeks of radio silence, things seemed calm. Too calm. Mia and I were back to enjoying our lives, road trips, weekend markets, late-night board games. The kind of soft joy Callie used to mock is boring. Then one morning, I woke up to a barrage of texts, screenshots, tags, people asking, is this true? Turns out, Callie, or someone very close to her, had posted a now deleted Reddit thread on a throwaway account. The headline? My ex-fiancé cheated on me and replaced me with a younger girl right after we broke up. Am I crazy for still loving him? The post painted me as a manipulative liar. Said I was emotionally unavailable, obsessed with control, and had been cheating with Mia the whole time. There were enough half-truths laced in that it felt believable, especially to people who only knew our relationship through curated photos. People from our shared friend group started reaching out. Even a few of my friends were hesitant, unsure what to believe. Callie had been smart, subtle, but it was clear this was a coordinated smear campaign, and I was furious. But I didn't take the bait. I didn't go online and rant. I didn't make a counterpost. Instead, I gathered evidence. Every text, every email, the timeline of when she admitted to cheating, the timestamps on photos of Mia and me after the breakup, the message from her asking to get back together. And then I let Mia post. She wrote a clean, concise statement on her private page. Just the facts. No drama. No insults. Just truth. Within hours, people started switching sides. The Reddit post got deleted. The account was nuked. A few of Callie's friends even messaged us with, I had no idea it was this bad, apologies. But the best part? One of her lies had backfired in a massive way. In the original post, Callie had named the guy she cheated with. Said he was the one who manipulated her into walking away from me. Painted him as a predator. Well, that guy, let's call him Evan, was in a new relationship. A very public one. With someone who didn't appreciate finding out her boyfriend had been sleeping with a taken woman who now blamed him for her wreckage. Evan's girlfriend dumped him. Publicly. And the screenshots Mia shared got him dragged too. Suddenly, the fallout wasn't just coming for me. It was circling back to everyone involved. Callie? She went quiet. And this time, it wasn't peace. It was the quiet you hear before the real storm. It had been almost 2 months since Callie's smear campaign collapsed. We hadn't heard from her directly since the blowback. Mia and I had moved on. Or so we thought. Then came the rain. One Saturday, Mia and I were at a bookstore/cafe we loved. It had started drizzling when we got there, but by the time we left, it was pouring. We ran to the car, laughing like kids, soaked, caffeinated, happy. Then I saw her. Across the street, standing under a flickering streetlight. No umbrella. No jacket. Just drenched and shaking. Callie. She didn't say anything. Just stared at us. Her eyes wide, red, and empty. I froze, keys in hand. Mia grabbed my arm. Let's go. But something about the way Callie stood there, like a ghost trapped in her own mess, made me pause. Not out of sympathy. Not out of guilt. Just closure. I walked across the street, leaving Mia in the car. Callie didn't move. You shouldn't be here, I said. She looked up slowly. Mascara streaks on her cheeks. Her voice barely above the rain. I didn't know where else to go. Call a friend. Or a cab. Or your therapist. Not me. I lost everything, Jake. I didn't respond. She stepped closer. I loved you. I didn't know how to be happy. You were too good. I didn't think I deserved it. You didn't, I said flatly. Her lip trembled. I miss you. I almost laughed. Almost. You miss control. You miss being wanted. You don't miss me. You miss who I was when I didn't know better. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. I don't hate you, Callie. But I don't pity you either. You made your choices. And I made mine. She looked past me, toward the car where Mia was waiting. She looks like the kind of girl who always wins. She is. Because she doesn't destroy people who love her. That was the last thing I said before turning and walking away. Callie didn't follow. She just stood there, sobbing in the rain, as I got into the car and shut the door. Mia didn't ask what she said. She just squeezed my hand. And we drove away from the past, from the chaos, from the version of myself that once thought love meant sacrifice. It doesn't. It means peace. I thought that rainy night would be the end of it, the final scene in a drama I never asked to be cast in. But about a week later, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line? Callie's dad, please read. I almost deleted it. But something told me to open it. The message was short, polite, careful. Jake, I'm not reaching out to excuse my daughter's behavior. I just want to say I'm sorry, truly. You didn't deserve what she did to you, and I hope you and your girlfriend are doing well. If you ever have the time, I'd like to apologize in person. No pressure. Just, I regret how we handled things. Now, for context, Callie's parents had always been standoffish. Formal. The type to say grace at dinner and then insult each other with smiles. I never felt close to them, but I was civil. Always tried to be the good future son-in-law. Apparently, that stuck. I showed the message to Mia. She said, your call. But if it's closure you need, go for it. So I went. We met at a quiet diner, not far from where Callie and I used to live. Her dad was already sitting in a booth, nursing a coffee like it held all the answers. He stood when I walked in, shook my hand, sat down. First of all, he said, you were the best thing that ever happened to my daughter. And she threw it away. I didn't speak. Just listened. She told us everything, he continued. Eventually, after she realized nobody else would lie for her anymore. She's okay. I asked, hesitantly. She's in therapy. On meds. Not working. Says she wants to move away. Start over. I nodded. That's good. I hope she does. He leaned in. She hates seeing you with someone else. But more than that, I think she hates seeing you happy. That hit harder than I expected. Because it was true. Callie never wanted to ruin me. Not at first. She just didn't want me to be fine without her. Her dad slid a small envelope across the table. She wanted to give you this. I didn't read it. I stared at it. But I didn't open it. Not there. I'm not sure I need more words, I said. He nodded. I figured. But I promised her I'd deliver it. We shook hands again. I left the diner. Sat in my car with the envelope in my lap for a solid 5 minutes. Then I put it in the glove box. Unopened. Because I already had closure, her tears in the rain, my peace with Mia, and the life we were building together. No letter could undo that. No apology could rewrite the truth. And no memory could take back the future she threw away. After everything with Callie finally died down, life settled into something that felt solid, real. Mia and I had started talking about moving in together, something we both approached with caution, me because of the trauma, her because she respected it. We weren't rushing, but we weren't standing still, either. Then one night, we were on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching Interstellar, her favorite movie, not mine, but I watched it because I loved seeing her eyes light up at that damn cornfield scene. Halfway through, she muted the TV and turned to me. There's something I want to tell you, she said. My stomach dropped. That phrase always feels like a threat. But Mia's face was calm. Almost nervous? I almost told you this months ago, but I didn't want it to sound like I was trying to replace anyone or take advantage of what happened. Now I was really confused. She took a breath. I've been in love with you since high school. I blinked. Wait, what? She nodded. Senior year. You probably didn't notice me that much. I was quieter then. But I remember everything. You wore that blue hoodie almost every day. You used to sit on the back bleachers during gym because you hated dodgeball. You loaned me a pencil once in math class, and I kept it for the rest of the year. I had the biggest crush on you. I was floored. Mia, I said, why didn't you ever say anything? She smiled. Because you were dating Ashley. Then Amanda. And then you disappeared after graduation. Life happened. I figured you were just one of those great what-ifs. I couldn't help but laugh. So how did we end up here? She shrugged. When I saw you post after the breakup, something in me said, if you don't message him now, you'll regret it forever. I reached for her hand. So what's this? Fate. She grinned. Or just really good timing. That night, I held her a little tighter. Not just because of what she said, but because I realized I'd been given something rare, a second chance that didn't come with chaos, but with clarity. With someone who chose me before I even knew I needed choosing. And the next morning, while making pancakes in her tiny apartment kitchen, she looked at me and said, you know what I realized last night? What? I'm not afraid of your past anymore. I think it was meant to happen, just so I could finally have this version of you. That's when I knew. This wasn't just healing. This was home. I wasn't planning to open it. That envelope Callie's dad gave me had been sitting in my glove box for weeks. Untouched. Unread. Forgotten on purpose. I told myself it didn't matter, that no combination of words in that letter could change anything. And I believed that. Until the day I didn't. Mia and I were packing up her place, getting ready to move into the new apartment we signed together. We were taking that next step. A shared lease. Shared space. Shared life. I was ready. But that envelope, it started to gnaw at me. Like an itch I couldn't scratch. I didn't tell Mia. I just slipped out to the car while she was boxing up dishes. I sat behind the wheel, held the envelope in my hands, and finally tore it open. There were 3 pages. All handwritten. Her looping, dramatic handwriting. Just like always. The first sentence? This isn't an apology, not because you don't deserve one, but because I know it won't change your mind. It wasn't what I expected. She admitted to cheating, to feeling invincible when someone else wanted her, and to resenting me for being the kind of man she knew she'd never fully deserve. She called our life together too stable, said it made her restless. Said she needed chaos to feel alive. But what hit hardest was this. You were the kind of love I didn't know how to protect. So I tried to break you first, before you could leave me. She confessed to making up parts of the Reddit post, even admitted she hoped it would scare Mia off. "I wanted to ruin your peace," she wrote. "I didn't care how low I had to go." Then came the twist. "The day I saw you in the rain, I thought you might at least waver. Just a little. Instead, I saw it. That look you used to give me. You give it to her now. And I realized. I never actually broke you. I set you free." That line messed me up for a minute. Because she was right. She hadn't ruined me. She pushed me toward the woman who rebuilt me, not by force, not by fire, but by choosing me every single day with softness and strength. At the end, she wrote, "I won't contact you again, but I hope, in whatever quiet moments you have, you think of me not as the villain, but as the storm that led you home." I folded the letter. Didn't tear it up. Didn't burn it. I just slid it back into the envelope, tucked it under the seat, and walked back inside. Mia looked up, smiling, completely unaware. "What took you so long?" "Just closing a chapter," I said. She kissed my cheek. "Ready to start a new one?" "More than ever." Mia and I were just days away from moving in together when the past tried to sneak in, one last time. We'd thrown a small going-away party at her place. Just a few friends, some drinks, and a playlist that Mia swore she spent hours curating. People were laughing, dancing, hugging us goodbye like we were leaving the country, not just changing apartments. Then someone knocked on the door. I was in the kitchen. Mia answered. I heard her voice before I saw her. Callie. Not in a disguise, not hysterical, just standing there in the hallway in jeans and a sweater, holding some kind of gift bag like she'd been invited. Mia didn't move. "What are you doing here?" she asked, calm but firm. "I just wanted to talk to Jake," Callie said, glancing over Mia's shoulder. I walked to the door, heart pounding, not from fear, but from disbelief. "You said you wouldn't contact me again." "I know," she said, "but this is important." Mia stepped in. "You need to leave." Callie ignored her. "It's not like that. I'm not here to win him back. I wanted to say goodbye. Face to face." I looked her dead in the eyes. "You already did. In the rain." Her jaw twitched. She wasn't expecting that. "I just thought," she stammered, "maybe I could give you this." She held up the bag. Inside was a framed photo, an old one of me and her at a concert years ago. Behind it, a note I didn't bother reading. "Why?" I asked. "Because I needed to feel like I gave back something I took," she whispered. "Closure. A memory." Mia, ever the anchor, spoke clearly. "You had your chance. You didn't just burn the bridge, you tried to blow up the entire river." Callie's eyes welled up, but there were no tears this time. Just regret. "I'll go," she said softly. "But one day, when it ends with her, I hope you remember how I loved you first." That was it. The door closed behind her. Quietly this time. Mia turned to me. "You okay?" I nodded. "Actually, yeah." We tossed the bog into the trash. Didn't even open the note. That was her final attempt, a desperate, misplaced plea to rewrite history. But what she never understood was this. I don't live in memories anymore. I live in moments. And every one of them is with Mia. I kept the ring in my pocket all day. Mia and I were hiking the same trail we took on our first real date, back when things were uncertain, but the connection was undeniable. It was spring now. Everything was in bloom. Just like us. At the overlook, she leaned on the railing, taking in the view. Hair in the wind, sun on her face, and I knew. I knew like I've never known anything. "I used to think love had to hurt," I said. "That it was all fights and chaos." She smiled. "And now I know love is this. Peace. Growth. Choosing each other on the hard days." I pulled out the ring. She gasped, hands to her mouth. "I don't ever want to go back to who I was before you," I said. "Will you marry me?" She didn't say yes. She said, finally, and tackled me in a hug. That's how our story ends, not in revenge, not in rage, but in something way stronger. Peace.